You are watching the video version of the Marketing Should Be Fun podcast. We are so glad that you are here. If you prefer to listen to podcasts, you can find the Marketing Should Be Fun show on any of your favorite podcast platforms, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else. But most of all, we're so glad you're here, and I hope that you enjoy today's conversation. Well, welcome back to another episode of Marketing Should Be Fun. My name's Austin Savage. I'm the founder of Savage Content Collective, and I'm here with my good friend, Kelsey Zarko, founder of Curate Social. Kelsey, the podcast is back!
I was going to say, you sound great. You remembered how to do it.
I remembered. I actually did have a moment before we sat down and got on that I was like, I feel like I don't remember what I usually say, but it came out. We're good.
It was like muscle memory, riding a bike.
Riding a bike. I can't do that anymore because I broke my leg, Kelsey.
I was just going to say, what a segue. Let us update you on our lives.
We've had some things going on. I broke my leg recently. That actually isn't why there's been a delay in the podcast, but definitely didn't help my productivity this week. It is what it is. Curate Social has been growing like crazy over the past few months, which is awesome. I'm very proud of you. I love seeing that.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like it's been a little bit of time since we've been here, but I'm excited to be back. I don't even remember. During our last recording, was our office done? Like, has this been the
I don't
vibe?
think so, because today I was like, I wonder what state it's in. I definitely thought that. Is it done?
The state is that it's done. Yeah. We bought a new house last summer. I know we talked about that on the podcast already, but we had a laundry room addition, a complete office, like upstairs suite renovation. So that feels good to be done. Systems and growing and figuring things out at Curate. The kids are almost done with the school year. Like, so much is happening. So it's been a good but full season.
Yeah, that is so much to manage though, like happening at once. I forget, did you guys do a lot of those renovations yourself, or did you hire a lot of that out?
It was a mixture. The upstairs we mostly hired out because we kind of gutted it. Like, it needed new flooring, all the things. The laundry room, we did a little bit of both. My husband, Matt, is fairly handy. He loves a good YouTube situation. So
heck yeah.
I have wallpaper with birds on it. It's the most beautiful thing ever.
That's so cute. I love it.
It's so cute. Yeah. I love it. You can find me on Instagram and go see all my home decor.
That's so fun. I don't remember seeing the wallpaper. I'll have to scroll back and
I need to do a couple after reels. I had filmed so many like before transitions in my camera roll, and I'm like, okay, time to go do the afters, put it all together.
Yep. That's so fun. And the upstairs space that you're in right now, I know your husband was planning to do like some life plan, like coaching and stuff like that up there. Have you been able to use it like with, I don't know, like have other people up there and do cool work
super
stuff?
Fun. I've had a couple of my own clients come over for like some strat-op type work. You can barely see it, but we have a huge whiteboard if you're watching the YouTube version that we have used more than I ever thought. And then Matt has hosted a few like life plan workshops and things up here. And I actually have a coaching session I'm doing with a local business that they're going to come over in a couple of weeks. So it's kind of fun to almost have like
so cool. An
office space. You can get to it without having to like walk through our house. Not that I care if people do, but it's fun to use it in that way.
I love it. That's one thing I don't have in my office right now. In like my home office, at least, is a big whiteboard. And we have one, there's an office space we rent about like 20 minutes from me. And there's one in there. And every time I go there, like, it's just such a different way of thinking to be able to like write out, to connect the dots for certain things and just like see, what I'm thinking in a, not just like on my notebook,
Totally.
And it's helpful.
Yeah. Do you remember the very first meeting we ever had when we worked together and I like was sitting at your desk and we were writing everything on your whiteboard?
Yes. That house, I miss that office because it literally wasn't completely, but it was like almost the floor to ceiling whiteboard kind of situation.
Yeah. That was a great spot.
It was so cool, but
good times. We've come a long way since those days. You need to give us your update. Everything happening over at Savage Content.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what the exciting things are. We're keeping a lot of our, systems rolling. A lot of the things are the same. I can't remember if this is since our last episode that we recorded, but we've brought on a couple new team members, which is super fun. I think we've started 2 new client relationships since the start of this year. And we got something exciting in the works right now. Can't say it yet because the contract isn't officially signed, but we're about to have a lot more than 2 clients this year. So
exciting.
Yeah. So we're doing a lot of like, not quite restructuring, but just a lot of like prep work and starting to think through our systems, rethink our systems, things like that. So it's been fun. I feel like our services right now are like the most diverse that they've ever been.
Okay.
Like we're doing, stuff all the way into like a lot more like funnel creation and, funnel development. So we're doing a lot of work on just like the automation side. And we started to do a lot more like ads, some paid social, which is pretty fun. We're probably going to start doing some paid search here soon. For my brain, like I think that's pretty fun to have like a pretty wide set of how we're serving clients. So it's cool. We got a lot of momentum right now, I feel like, which is special. So
yeah, that's exciting. I think you and I have both experienced, and our listeners will relate to this too, just the different life cycles of owning a business and what it looks like and how it changes. And so I'm also very proud of you. You have had moments where you're like, is this what I want to do? And so have I. Yes. And to see it like continue and grow and ebb and flow is super cool.
Totally. I guarantee I'll get there again, but I'm not there right now. So that's what I'm grateful for.
I think when you are not there, it almost feels more rewarding after you've been there, because you're like, no, I like fought for this and I actually do want to be here and it means something. So legit.
Totally. I 100% agree. Kelsey, we're back with some new things on the podcast, but one thing staying the same, and that is our this or that. What is our this or that for today?
I'm so excited about this one because I love when I think of them where I'm like, I don't actually know what your answer is going to be. So
I can't wait.
I know you always get very nervous. So drum roll. Okay. There are a lot of great movies coming out this year. I'm not sure if you're going to go see Project Hail Mary. We have Devil Wears Prada coming. We have the Nate Bargatze movie. We have Mario. Do you prefer a normal movie going experience, or are you like a IMAX 3D? Give me all the special effects. Or do you not even like to go to the theater? I mean, I really don't know where we're going to go here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So like comparing normal movie theater experience from like the fancy movie theater experience.
Yes.
Absolutely. First off, didn't know Devil Wears Prada is a movie coming out. Also didn't know about a Nate Bargatze movie. So
well, you have some homework to do.
No kidding. I did just see that the one with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya came out. The Drama is what that one's called.
Oh,
and that one looks
I know that one.
Crazy. I am actually very excited to see it. I think it's on Apple TV as well, but I know it's in theaters right now.
We're just revealing our personalities. Classic, bougie, indie and unique.
Yes. I don't know. I'm not a big movie theater fan, I feel like, these days.
Okay.
And you know what? Here's the craziest reason why is that not too long ago, you know how like when you eat something and it makes you sick and then you can never eat that again? Yep. That happened to me with popcorn like a year ago.
Ooh. And at a movie theater?
Not at a movie theater, but just in general.
Okay.
And so now I like can't eat popcorn anymore. And so it's not as much the smell, but like the idea of like, that's what you do when you go to a movie theater. Like that's like, that is the backbone of the experience. And so I feel like I'm just like, I don't want that, because I'm going to end up just like saying I'll be fine and I'm going to eat the popcorn and then I'm not. And it's just going to be a bad day. And so I'm like,
I saw this whole thing playing out. Yep. This makes total sense.
So I feel like these days I'm like, I'm patient. I'll wait. Yeah. It'll be out, on a streaming service and I'll watch it then. However, the Project Hail Mary reviews and the trailers, I have seriously been considering going to see that, because every single person that I've seen post about it has said that it's like one of the best movies that they've seen in recent years, at least. So
I've heard amazing things too. A bunch of our Matt's going to go see it tonight. We can figure out a sitter situation, but I am going to see it at some point. And I've heard that it's like decently family friendly too. Piper kind of wants to watch it.
Oh,
She's
really?
Our 5th grader. So we'll see, but okay.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. What about you?
I kind of thought that's what you were going to say. I was like, I don't even know if he's a movie theater person. But I'm glad to know that I at least was in the right camp. I love a movie theater. I don't really want to do the IMAX 3D. I think I have too much like sensory overload for that. I feel like I would get sick.
It gives you a headache.
Yes. But living in Dallas now, Dallas movie theaters, like most things in Dallas, are kind of bougie. I'm very used to like a normal standard ticket gets you a recliner and you're good.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I grew up, in Peoria. I don't know what Bloomington was like. In central Illinois, that was not a thing. It's still not really a thing. So if I just can have a recliner, I'm good. That's all I need.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Is this like they bring food to you and drinks and things like that?
No, like we have those here, but those are like what I would call extra fancy. Just the normal movie theaters here they're all recliners.
Just have recliners.
Yes.
Wow.
And I bring my own blanket and I bring my own snacks. Oh my gosh. So it's an experience.
Okay, that's super fun. If our movie theaters were like that, I would go to the movie theater more.
Yeah. I mean, you can take your own blanket and snacks.
But there's just not a recliner waiting for me.
Yes. I do feel like, in our 30s now, that just makes a big difference.
It really does. It really does. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was a good one. Thank you. Thanks. It actually kind of made me want to go to the movie theater. So I feel like that had a positive impact on my life. So thank you.
That's all I wanted. I feel good. We can end here.
That was my dream. Okay, so here on the Marketing Should Be Fun podcast, we have a little bit of a different structure we're going to try moving forward, a way that we're going to just keep things interesting. And also just like things have shifted so much since we started this podcast. Obviously, when we first started it, Kelsey, like you worked on my team and, we were working super closely together. And, there was a lot of collaboration still that we did when you first started Curate Social. And nowadays, we're just fully operating in different spaces, operating different agencies, different teams, fully different clients. I mean, I just don't have as much visibility into your work. You don't have as much visibility into my work. And we want to leverage that here on the podcast. And so every episode, we're going to kind of alternate where one of us is kind of bringing a question to the other person to kind of like start a conversation between us and just kind of like pull some value out of one another. So I'm very excited for it. And I'm excited for the first question that I brought today for you. So are you ready?
I love it. I brought it here today. I feel like you're going to have like a briefcase and you're going to open it. I am ready. I'm excited.
Okay. Me too. Okay. So I actually don't know what you are going to, kind of say about this. And I'm curious what your answer is for this, like contextually for like social specifically, because I know that's like, most of what you're doing.
My baby. Yep.
That's your baby. But what makes a good client for you? And by that, I don't mean like, what is the like good versus bad? Like, what's a good client look like? And like, what is a bad client? But like, how can someone like best set themselves up for success to partner with an agency like yours or like mine and be able to like offload content in a way that isn't just like, they do my content now, but like actually like creates momentum, creates results, feels like a good partnership both to you and to the client. What does that look like? How does somebody do that?
I love it. You mean you don't just want me to tell you stories of really good clients and really bad clients? That's not.
Actually, I think that would be very fun. So
no, I know we all have the stories, but love my clients. Just gonna, I think this is a great question because what I hope at the end of this, maybe someone would be able to do if they're listening is kind of give themselves like a quick check on, is this a good time for me to offload, outsource? That's a hard question as a business owner. I've experienced that even myself this year of bringing on my first couple employees and just like, is this right? Totally. Is this going to be good? I don't know. So I actually had a client ask me this when we were on a discovery call. He was like, what makes a good client and what makes a bad client? And I was like, I love you already. You just sign right here, sign the line. Just this self-awareness to ask that. I thought that was great. Totally. So I kind of have some ideas in my mind, just even from what I shared with him. I think one of the first things that makes a good client for me, where I'm thinking through my client list right now of this is working. This feels like a good synergy. There's not a lot of stickiness and conflict, and we're seeing results on social. And we could do a whole different episode on what those results are. I'm not just saying like you're going viral every day. That's actually not the goal I have for most of my clients, but accomplishing the goals that they have that they want to see. It is that they are clear on their messaging. So do you actually know what you want to say? Do you know who you're talking to? Do you know what you want to have happen? I think maybe just circling back to what I just said, It isn't, oh, I just want you to do my Instagram so you can, make me 1 million followers and all my posts go viral. That's probably not going to accomplish the real goals you have. So I think just that clarity on, this is who I'm talking to. This is what I want to say. This is what I want. This is what I hope happens. Mm-hmm. If you could come to me with those 3 questions already answered, I mean, we'd be able to hit the ground running. And those are some questions I have in my onboarding questionnaire. And just the more clear I see people on that. So those are some great questions to ask yourself, even for me to think through, do I know those answers to those questions? Okay. Yeah. I think another thing that I've seen make a really good client is if they understand what outsourcing really means. And I'd be curious on your thoughts on this too, Austin. It's not just, you kind of alluded to it in your intro. It's not just like, here's my Instagram login. Bye.
Totally.
Because that won't work. The reality is, we say this all the time, content performs on a human level. Well, there needs to be some sort of human behind this brand. And so you can't just piece out. Now, there are tons of weight we take off your shoulders for sure. I want this to feel like, I got rid of some weight. I got rid of some time. I'm getting time back in my day. I'm getting brain space back. But it can't just be drop it and leave it. Practically, what this sounds like, here we are, me back to the practical. Surprise, surprise. They send me their deliverables on time. They respect that there is things that we need from them. They're willing to not just expect that I would read their mind. I get pretty good at it, I'm not going to lie, but especially up front, explaining hey, here's what this means. Or when we talk about this, here are some bullet points to use. So I do just think that mutual respect is so key in accomplishing that whole goal of keeping you as part of your brand.
Totally.
And I suppose people weigh in here in a second and interrupt me, but I suppose people can also swing the other way too, of holding on so tight when they want to outsource, that then I'm like, oh, I can't really get anything done because you're actually still trying to do everything. So there's probably a healthy continuum there of
totally
a balance of that.
Yeah. We definitely have some clients that are more disengaged. It just came to us and are like, we honestly don't want to have a lot of involvement, or we just don't feel like we have the capacity to dedicate a team member to this. And I mean, honestly, those are the hardest accounts to grow, the hardest areas to see momentum, especially on those platforms that do require kind of that people-centered, just feel and approach overall. And it's so helpful. I love just, even what you're saying of just what outsourcing truly is, of delivering, things in a timely manner, but also sending content and saying hey, I see that we're talking about this. Here's 3 things that you should know about that. That is such a game changer in a client relationship, where even if it's not hey, I'm going to record a video, for you that you can feature in the feed. But when it's hey, just so you know, in our industry, here's 3 ways that we talk about this, or when we're talking with clients, we approach this in this way, and saying that, and not having that be retroactive every time of hey, we actually put out this post and that doesn't have anything to do with what we're with how we talk about, those kinds of things. And I mean, obviously we try to prevent that as much as possible, but whenever that communication is pushed, I mean, that just makes such a big difference in a partnership.
Yeah, I agree. I try to send our clients here are the deliverables I need for each of these things. And then the ones that just nail it on responding, I'm like, great, yes. I can make this sound so much like you. Yeah, I do just think that you will be surprised if you're listening and you're like, oh, outsourcing means I still have to do things. I think the number one thing you and I get to provide people, well, maybe I shouldn't speak for you, but I think this is true of what you do, is just giving your brain space back. I tell people all the time, it is so different sitting down to have to create content. If in one scenario, you're sitting down to a blank piece of paper and you're like, I got to think of the idea. I've got to think about how I want to share the idea. I've got to think about what I want to write about the idea, versus sitting down to, hey, I need you to record me a 1 minute video on this topic. Start with these 3 words and send me a couple bullet points about this. Just the different way that you get to approach that with your brain is a huge game changer. So I think that kind of helps delineate some outsourcing ideas there. The third thing that I think of with what makes a good client is just having fair expectations. This is true about pretty much anything in life, but it definitely applies here. The people who understand the partnership it takes, so kind of back to our second bullet point, And then also trusting the process, understanding and kind of trusting the different things I will share with them on silent supporters. And, we'll put a post out and they're like, nobody liked it. And it's like, it's okay. Like,
that's okay.
Trust the process. People are seeing things. I actually had a client yesterday that was like, oh my gosh, we put that post out and I was really excited about it and it didn't really get as much momentum. But then I was on a meeting with my financial advisor and we were talking about something and he referenced my post. And I was like, what? You saw my post? Yeah. You didn't even like it. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it is happening every single second of the day. Yep. It's annoying to me too. It's one of the hardest parts of my job to convince you that something's happening when you can't see it. But those stories, I'm like, okay, see, proof. So I think having fair expectations about someone not being a miracle worker, but I am working so hard to create content that meets your goals and all of those things, and kind of marrying those expectations together of, I'm paying you and I really want good work. Me too. Same. And we got to trust this process a little bit. And I think that probably applies across the board. It certainly applies on Instagram, which is where I spend most of my time. But with every type of content you create, we all want it to go viral. Every now and then it does. But again, back to what are our real goals? Can we trust the process?
Yeah. How are you setting expectations with clients these days? Like, for the client who like comes in and is like, hey, I'm just here to, I know this is important. I kind of trust you, but all the way to the client who's like, I need to sell this book. I need to, I need to see things happen. Like, how are you communicating kind of like what those expectations should be?
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of two parts for me. A lot of that happens on a discovery call. I'll just grab 15, 30 minutes on Zoom with a client, or if they're here in person, meet with them in person. And I think just explaining my overall philosophy of content marketing and how I've seen content connect with people. I think that somewhat sets the bar for them of like just understanding in general what the story is we're telling here. I think it honestly lets people breathe a little bit too. When I explain that philosophy of, in a very big analytics and numbers world, which I do love. You know me, I love a good analytic, but being able to share with them more of the human side of things. And just, we've done this for years. It is kind of wild to sit down and be like, actually, I have 17 stories I can tell you about this topic. So that helps a lot at the beginning. And then when I do an onboarding call and we talk through all of our systems and all of the expectations, I just try to really clearly line out, here's what you can expect this first week. Like, no content is even hitting your feed. We are literally just creating a calendar and getting some momentum with ideation. And so the more, I think the more upfront I am at the beginning with, hey, I'm going to lead you. You don't have to, you don't have to know all this right now. I got this. You can trust me. I'm the guide. Come on. Here's what we're doing this week. That has seemed to be really helpful.
Yeah.
What would you say on your end?
Definitely similar. We have clients in the B2B space and then the B2C space. We have clients that are service-based businesses, product-based businesses. And I definitely feel like the expectations that clients come in with are very different based on where they fit in those categories. Like B2C product-based business is going to have a lot higher expectations in comparison to, a service-based business that like maybe they only need 5 clients a year and they're just trying to, keep those, relationships strong. And so the way that we approach those partnerships is very different. But I love what you said of just like being really clear about like, this is our philosophy of like how we approach marketing. And truly, you go to 10 different agencies, you're going to get 10 different marketing philosophies. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong. And it doesn't mean that like, the way that we do it is 100% of the time, like way better than everybody else. Right. But like, it does work. And like, here's why we think it works. Here's how we've seen it work in the past. Here's how we think that applies to your context. And so I do think education is just a big piece of that, because especially for those people who come in with the higher expectations, like we're often having to bring those down, not in the sense of like, we want less momentum than you want, but in the sense of like, hey, this game like is a longer game than maybe like you feel like it is. And, if we're going to get people to that decision point, even for your $20 product or even for your $50 product, like it takes time. And, we want people to feel connected to the brand, not just seeing the product over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. I think people maybe come in wanting to sprint and we're like, hey, we're actually going to give you the marathon guide.
Exactly.
And you're going to run a really good marathon. And so I think that maybe is just a helpful example. Yeah, I do agree. That was a great point about the different types of clients. I was just
Mm-hmm.
thinking through, I'm like, yeah, I have all of those different clients too. And a lot of the same principles apply, but it's just
Right.
um, a different model and a different angle. And so maybe
Yep.
for listeners, even to think through in those first questions I asked about, what do you want to say? Who do you want to say it to? And what do you want to
Mm-hmm.
happen? That is going to be different depending on what type of product are you doing? What type of service do you have? Are you trying to connect with another business? I have a company right now I'm working for that they are definitely B2B and
Mm-hmm.
very local to their area
Yeah.
that they're in. It isn't a B2B where it's online at all. I mean, it's online, but you need to be there to work with them. It's more construction based.
Totally.
And so the way their content is performing is going to be way different than my client, who I have a couple authors right now. It's like, we need to sell books. We are radically
Right.
tracking pre-order numbers. And so
Totally.
the way that we're creating that content is just different based on that. So yeah, even to know your goals and your agency that you're working with, or the person that, if you're thinking about outsourcing, to even ask those questions. Those are great questions to ask somebody when you're sitting down
Totally.
to outsource of, what would your strategy be? What would your philosophy be? Here's what I want to happen. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was very helpful.
Yeah. And I think there's the awareness for those different types of clients that's just so valuable. Like you're saying, like you have a business client who, like they've been doing something for years in comparison to like an author that's, pushing a book before release. Like they're different goals, and like there's a different feel to that. But back to those three questions that you said of like, what do you want to say? Who do you want to say it to? And what do you want to see happen? I mean, I think there's just such a valuable partnership that can happen when that clarity is there. It's like, okay, that's really helpful to know that this is your goal. Here's how we get there. And
Mhm.
that's obviously going to be very contextual to each client relationship.
Yeah. I think that's why if you're thinking about outsourcing content, part of
Mm-hmm.
what I would say makes a great client too is trusting yourself to know if you know those answers, and then to talk to the person you're interested in working with. Like you'll know. I hope that you always hear on here that we like believe in you and you can trust your gut on, is this the
Yes.
right time for me? Is this the right person for me? That's, I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
huge part of what I'm doing too on those discovery calls. What makes a great client? Well, I kind of feel it in my gut if it is one or
Yeah,
not. Who you
absolutely.
connect with. And so even partnerships, connect on a human level, just like content does.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage you to, lean into that and trust that too.
On this same topic, we partner with a few Dairy Queen locations. What we were talking about with just like knowing what a partnership looks like, and just this idea of like, we're going to lead you, and like we're going to tell you what we need, and that's going to just open up the doors of like, you're not having to think of like, what are we posting on social? What do I need to
Yes.
capture? What is there a
Mm-hmm.
photo that they need, or what is this? We're going to give you kind of that list each month of like, hey, grab a photo of this blizzard.
Yep.
We'd love a feature of this team member, like those kinds of things. But for this client, they were opening a new location in one of the towns near us, and we were doing a lot of work to just like go into like creating some big excitement, around the community.
Yeah.
And very quickly, this account for the new location that hadn't even opened yet became our highest performing client account across like all of our clients, and across like any industry. And it was just through like a really strong partnership with
Mm.
that specific team at that specific location. And it was really cool to see, because they went beyond kind of that, like, hey, we're going to give you what you ask for. And they were just like sending us stuff constantly. And it was just kind of this understanding of like, you might not need this. This might be helpful. It might not. But like, here's, pictures of people from around the restaurant. Here's pictures of our team. Here's an event that we did, and like photos that we grabbed at that. And we were just able to use that and like just basically piece together the puzzle of
Mm-hmm.
like what they were delivering to us. And so it kind of became this two-way street of, we're going to give you ideas, and we are going to, create the calendar. We're going to, have the plan. But at the same time, like, you are the most connected person to your brand. You can
Yep.
see like, here's something special that happened. You can feel like here's something unique that the team I'm partnering with might not be aware of. And I think when that kind of back and forth happens, and it doesn't have to look like sending us content all the time,
Yep.
but like when that back and forth can happen, I mean, I think that it just opens the door on momentum, because even if it's just ideas that are going back and forth, it's so valuable to just like get kind of that feedback loop from a client of like, hey, this feels really important to us as a brand, but then also like the having the freedom for us to be able to say like, hey, here's where we want to go with your content, and for this reason, because we see these trends happening across our client accounts. Like that, I think that is just where kind of the magic happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the best type of synergy. And I think what happens there is like there's neither of you are threatened by that. And I think that's the beauty of like respecting each other in the partnership of like, we have all these ideas. Cause like you said, no one knows your brand better than you personally do. And no one knows content more than we do. And so putting that together. And I actually think I just did a reel on this recently where it's something I see almost every single time I onboard a client. Once the pressure is off your shoulders of everything rests on me, all of a sudden you have ideas all the time because you're like, I don't have to follow this all the way down the line. Like there's somebody here to help me. I have the support, and I just see the ideas blossom when you don't have everything on your shoulders, which I think is so cool to see.
Oh, totally. Totally. I see that with one of our other clients too, just with stories. Like, it's like now that she's not in charge of all of the content and like, isn't just having to think of like, how am I promoting my products? How am I talking about my services? What do I do? Now, all of a sudden it's like, I just had a great conversation with a client. Like we should post about it. And it's like, yeah, we absolutely should. I'm so glad that you had, just the space to have that conversation first, but then also like to just think of it as an opportunity for marketing content. Like that is just awesome to see anytime that happens.
My husband always tells me that my business messaging is, I give you your brain space back. And I think that's true. You are a great client if you're like, my brain is too full. I need to get this off my plate, but I'm not just going to drop it at your feet and leave. I'm going to have the brain space back to partner on this. And that's really cool to see.
100%. Well, those were some good answers. If my notes are correct, getting clear in your messaging. So again, I loved those 3 questions. Like, what do you want to say? Who do you want to say it to? What do you want to see happen? So helpful. Having clarity on, what a partnership looks like, and just like understanding that you should stay involved. You want to kind of find that middle ground of, being as involved as you need to be a good partner, but also, not holding on so tight that the agency doesn't have freedom to iterate and give ideas and operate effectively. And then having fair expectations of, understanding that this is a very, like, you want your content to be very human-centered, and humans take time to build trust. And that's something that you want to leverage, not something that you want to fight against. I think that's a great list.
Thank you. I'm also just listening to you thinking, man, I honestly learned a ton of that when I worked with you. So it's really fun to get to have these conversations. I'm serious. I'm going to make you leave that in the episode and just let me honor you. I think that is true.
Thank you very much. That is very kind. I shall receive it. Kelsey, it's so fun to be back on the podcast. It feels so good.
I agree. I'm so excited. I can't wait to put these episodes out. If you're a listener, I'm just hoping that you'll listen in, give us feedback. I really hope today what you listen and hear is just a helpful reflection on, what does it look like to outsource content? What does it look like to work with somebody else on that? Am I ready? If I'm not, are there steps I need or want to take to get ready? And for you to see what that could do for your business this year. We're just coming out of first quarter. So a lot of magic could happen this year.
Heck yeah. A lot of time left. Well, I am very, very excited to be back, like I said. And for all those listening, thank you. And we'll see you right back here for the next episode of Marketing Should Be Fun.